Okay, we're going to try something really crazy here. What I want to do is I want to mix up the pack a little bit. And you're going to actually mix it up, and we're going to find a unique location in the pack. So first of all, the cards are mixed up. You can see that there's no order to it. It doesn't appear to have any order. There's all kinds of cards mixed up. Could you please cut off, I don't know, maybe about a third of the deck and then turn it over and place it back on top? So they'll reach in and they would pick up about a third of the deck, and then they would turn it over and place it right back on top, just like that. You want to help them along and get that. And then you tell them, I want you to really mix them up, so I want you to cut even deeper, maybe about half of the deck. And I want you to pick that up, and I want you to turn that over and place it back on top, just like that. So what we've done is we've really mixed up the pack. We have cards that are now facing in a chunk one way, some are facing another way. What I want you to do is I want you to spread the cards out from the top, and as soon as you see a card that is facing down, I want you to stop at that point. So they would spread through and they would get to the first card that they see facing down. And you tell them to set the top cards aside. Now what I want to do is I want you to pay close attention. Now you mix these cards up. I want you to pay attention to something that's on the card box. If you look underneath, there is a code, which is an item code for that card. It has a barcode there, and then there's numbers that go along with that barcode. And you can see starting right here we have 4. I don't know if you can see that from your point of view, but we've got 4, 1, 1, 8, 7, 0, 1, 2, 0, 7. 4, 1, 1, 8, 7, 0, 1, 2, 0, 7. Now this is a spot that you chose after mixing up the cards. Let's just see what we get here. The first card is a 4. The next card is a 1. The next card is a 1. The next card is an 8. The next one is a 7. The next one is 0. Joker for 0. The next one is 1. The next one is a 2. The next one is another joker for 0, and the last one is a 7, and you can see that it lines up perfectly with the product code on the box. And that is this is what you found in the deck when you mixed it up and cut into it. Okay, so very quickly, this is just one presentation of a stack, using a stack that is prearranged inside of the deck. Now, apart from showing you a false shuffle, which I will actually do here in a second, a simple false shuffle that you can do, the easiest way to do this is present it as I did, where you have your stack sitting on top of the deck, so you have your numbers all figured out, and you have your revelation already figured out. So I decided I was going to use this sequence on the box, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards worth. Now that's about almost a quarter of the deck. 10 cards, so when I have them cut, I'm going to need them to cut deeper than that, so I'd either say a third or a half and make sure that they're down below that. But if I wanted to do a false shuffle before I started this, which might be a better way to present it, here's an idea that you can practice. Now this will take a lot of practice and development of some skill. You can use the shuffle that I taught you, which is the cut shuffle, on the table to retain that portion. And the way you would do it is you would take off about a third of the deck to start, and you'd put that down. And you'd say, I'm going to shuffle the deck a little bit. I'm just going to mix up the packets. And then the next small packet you pick up, you would do what we call in-jog, which means that you're jogging it. It's an out-jog or an in-jog. An out-jog is something that goes away from you. An in-jog is something that comes towards you. So it's off-center. We're going to call this an in-jog, but we're going to put it off to the right like that, so it sticks out on the end about a half an inch or so. And then you're going to take more packets, and as you cut them, you're going to be kind of sloppy about where you place them. Okay, so it looks like that first one doesn't look special. It's sitting off, but all of them are sitting kind of off. And then you finish this, and you say, we're just going to split up the packets a little bit, and then as you bring it towards yourself, you're going to pick up with your 2 fingers on this card, this first set over here, that was on top of the pack, and I'm going to tilt it forward like that, as I square everything up. And what I'm doing is I'm actually holding these cards above the other ones. I'm making a break between them. And instantly, right away, I pick that up, I set it forward, and then I will set the top packet right back on top again, okay? So what I have is I have my stack back on top. This is very simple to do. This is not hard. You just have to wrap your brain around what's going on here. So in full speed, this is what it would look like. Now, this isn't how I presented it, but you could do this to make it a little bit better. I'm going to cut off about a third. Then I would cut small packets. I would push it in jog there a little bit, and I'd be really sloppy about where I'm putting these packets. I'm telling them that I am mixing up the cards a little bit. We'll give it one more cut. And that's okay. I know that that's fine. I can just put that underneath. And be careful what you're doing, and know that if you make a mistake, sometimes you can work with a mistake like I did there. But what I've done is I've retained my top 10 cards right where they're supposed to be. Now I can say we've mixed up the deck. They're all in a different place. There's really no order to it. I'm holding back these top cards so they don't get a glimpse of them and especially see the jokers that are in there. So I'm going to hold back the top quarter of the deck as I show it. And then I go through my instructions. What I want you to do is I want you to take about a third of the deck, and you might even be a little bit more generous and say take half the deck, about half the deck, and cut them off and turn them over and set them back on top. Now I want you to cut deeper and take about 3/4 of the deck, and I want you to pick that up and turn that over and set it on top. Now you've mixed up the cards. Some are facing up, some are facing down, and you've also found a location. What I want you to do is that I want you to spread through the cards, and once you get to the first card that's face down, I want you to break and set those cards aside. Now, I want to show you on the bottom of the box, we have this number, and then you would reveal your prediction this way. You would show the number, and then you would take the cards off one at a time, and then you would call out this number. Or you can give the box to somebody else and say, please call out these numbers, starting here at that number and ending over there. And as they call them out, you can turn this over, and it might get a good laugh when you arrive at the joker for 0, because that's kind of funny, and then you would give your reveal. So that is the cut deeper force being used to force a stack. Now you could use the crisscross force to do the same thing, or the cut deeper force. The other forces we talked about are probably not quite as useful in doing this because a stack takes up kind of a big chunk of space. But there is a way that you can cut to not just one card, but cut to a grouping of cards that are going to be part of your reveal. And that's a really great way to reveal something that's already in print, like something on the card box, or something that's written down somewhere else, or the page number of a book or something, where you might have a book, for example, and it has a bookmark in it, and the bookmark is at a 3-digit page number, so page number 232 or something like that, and you cut to 232, showing that page number, or it's split between 2 page numbers. You have 231 and 232, and you've got both of those on either side of it, with a joker in between or something like that. So that's a good way to do this. Another way, you could do the same thing with a book. I'm just making this up. You could, instead of having a bookmark, you have a joker from the deck set between 2 pages. You might even just do that as a prediction. Look through the book and set the joker between 2 pages and set that aside. And then you have someone go through this procedure and you show 231, joker 232. And then you open up where the joker bookmark is at, and you can see you have 231, joker 232. So there's a lot of different reveals you can use using a stack. So that's another idea, using the cut deeper force to cut to a stack. Okay, we're going to try something pretty crazy here. I want you to shuffle the cards, so I'll give you the cards to shuffle. Now, the spectator would shuffle the cards, and I just want to bring something up here. If you have tricks that begin with the spectator shuffling cards, you're in a really good position. Now, I know that not all tricks can do that. We just looked at one trick here that you could not do that on. If the spectator shuffled the cards in that trick, it would be ruined. And one thing about that, if I was showing the previous trick with the stack, and at some point somebody said they wanted to shuffle the cards, what you would do is you would let them shuffle the cards. Always let the spectator shuffle if they want to. And then what you would do is you would do a different trick. Okay, so forget about your stack trick and do something totally different. Just change gears and do something else. But tricks where spectators shuffle are good, because that's the number one complaint that hecklers give. Hecklers are people that bother you when you're trying to do a trick, like your friends that are trying to bust on you while you're trying to show them something. They'll say, well, let me shuffle, right? And if you have a trick that lets them shuffle first, then that gets rid of that. No one will bother you in that way because they've already shuffled. So you have them shuffle, and then you'll show that the cards are indeed completely out of order. And then you'll say, what I want you to do is I want you to pick a card. You can select any card that you want. So they would select a card, and they would take that, say, I want you to look at it, show it to everybody else to see what it is. And then what you can do this a couple of different ways. You could say, and look, just so you know that I don't know the order, I'm just going to shuffle them again. Okay, so I don't know what order the cards are in. I don't know where the cards are at, but you shuffled the cards, you picked a card, they're shuffled again. What I want you to do is take your card and just place it right back into the deck, right here, and I'm going to drop the rest of the pack on top. I have no idea where your card is at. I have no idea where it is. In fact, I can even cut it again here. And I don't know where it is. I don't know where the card could be or what it is. It's a complete mystery to me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find it. And actually, I'm not even going to find it. You're going to find it. I'm going to have you find your own card. So if you give me your hand, and then you would hold their hand like this, over top of the spread deck on the table, and you're going to move their hand across, and you're going to move it along. Pretend I'm holding a hand here. I'll hold a card box. Like I'm holding a hand. You would move their hand along, and you would say, "Well, I think I'm feeling something somewhere around in the middle, right here. I think I feel something in there." And then let go of their hand and say, "Just 1 second. Let me kind of narrow this down a little bit." And then you would split the cards out like this, and spread them out a little bit more. So about like that. And you say, "Let me see your hand again." You take their hand and you'd move it along. You'd say, "Well, I don't think it's any of these. I'm feeling something over here, but I'm not sure." I'm going to drop your hand right here. And you can drop their hand on the card that they selected. Okay? So that's the trick. Now let me talk about what's going on here. For a lot of people, this is going to seem pretty good. They're not going to really know how you did this. It's going to seem pretty interesting. And there's a few reasons why. Number one, the presentation is really complicated because there's a lot of things happening. Cards were shuffled by them. A card was selected. The cards were shuffled by you. The card was replaced. The cards were cut again. The cards were spread out. You used their hand to figure out where their card might be, and then you narrowed it down, and then you did it again, and then you found it. There's a lot going on in there. But the truth of the matter is that this is the simplest card trick that everybody knows. This is using the key card principle that we talked about there in our methods. Now, it's a key card trick. So that first card you ever learned, probably, where you know the bottom card, you have somebody select a card, and then you have them put their card into the deck, and then you cut it in, and because you know your key card, you know the one that's underneath, that Ace of Hearts, you're able to find their card by spreading it out. You just would find the Ace of Hearts, and then you know that their card is the next one. Okay, so it's that trick. But we're going to hide it. We're a little bit more intelligent. We're a little bit smarter about it. Remember, I told you that everybody knows this trick. So we need to present it a little bit differently. So here's how I do it. I have the spectator shuffle. Remember, it's good to have the spectator shuffle any way that they want. Okay, if you start that way and you use a peek here to do the trick, then you're very much better off doing it this way. So they shuffled. I show that the cards are shuffled. I'm not going to use this as a key card. I'm going to use the top card, and I spread and I say, you can see that the cards are all out of order. And then I'm going to catch a quick glimpse of the top card, which is the Eight of Clubs. and then I close up the spread, and then I have them select a card. Now this is funny. I just want to point out something. If you get people that are a real pain in the neck, and they don't go for the middle cards like a normal person would, right? My family is like that. If I do a trick for them, you can almost guarantee they're going to try to do something really silly and funny, and they'll probably take a bottom card or they'll go right for the top card. If they go for the top card, that's not messing up your trick because we know the top card. Okay? Let them take it. It's already done. The trick is done. In fact, if they take the top card, what you can do is you can do this in even more of an impossible way. They can look at it and you can say, you know what? Put the card back anywhere you want. Okay? So change your method and make it even more impossible because they just made the trick easier for you. Okay? But let's assume that they take the middle card, something in the middle. They take their card to look at. Now, what I'm going to do, I could use my key card as a top card if I want to. I could have them place it on top and cut it in. But I'm going to confuse the situation a little bit, okay? As they're looking at the card, I'm going to say, and I'm actually going to give the cards another mix here, another shuffle, because I want to make sure you know that I don't know where any of the cards are in the deck. And when I do that, I'm going to pick up one card, which is my key card. I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to pick up small packs, and I'm going to cut on top of that. So all I've done is I've moved my key card to the bottom. So now my key card, my 8 of clubs, is down here. Now I can say, go ahead and take your card and place it back into the deck here. You can, just drop my coin there. Place your card into the deck right there at the break, and I'm going to lose it. Now I have no idea what your card is or where it's at. I have no clue. At this point, remember, I'm still remembering 8 of clubs. Always remember your key card. Don't lose it. I'm going to do one quick. It's not a false cut, but it's not going to mess up what I'm doing. There are things called false cuts. That's where you cut the cards in a false way, and it doesn't really change the order. We are going to change the order, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off just a small pack on top, and then I'm going to cut down so that there's only a small pack on the bottom. And what that means is that my key card and the selection are still in the middle of this pack in the same order with my 8 of clubs on top. So I'm going to take the middle pack and place it on top of the small pack on top, and then I'm going to take the small pack and place it on top of everything. So what I've done is I've taken the bottom and I've put it on the top and the top and the bottom, but the middle cards have stayed the same. I still have my 8 of clubs and then their selection right underneath it. Okay, so I haven't changed it. But it confuses everybody a little bit more. Now I'm going to take the cards and I'm going to spread them on the table like this. And then I'm going to take their hand and then I'm going to do a lot of acting. Okay, a good magic trick involves acting. Now I can see my 8 of clubs here already, and I know that the ace of clubs is their selection now. So I'm going to take their hand and I'm going to move it back and forth. And once I get somewhere around the middle, I'm going to say, I feel something really strong in here, so let me just narrow this down a little bit. And I might cut it down to just a handful of cards, maybe 10 cards or so. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to spread them out a lot wider so that when I reveal, I can reveal. I might even cut off a few more than that. I can reveal by placing their full hand right on top of their card. So that I take their hand again and I do this acting thing and I drop it right on top. Okay, so that is the reveal, and it's just a very interesting kind of reveal. There's a good story behind it, a lot of mumbo jumbo going on in there. I'm not just showing them the card that they selected. I'm having a reason, a way for them to find it. And I'm saying that I'm actually going to use them to find it, that they're going to find their card. One other quick thing about this, you might want to think about doing this. I know my key card at this point is the King of Clubs. I'm at that point in the trick. They've got their card there, and my key card is the King of Clubs. Their card is that card. And I'll have them replace it into the middle. So my King of Clubs is on top of my selection. And whenever I go to do my cutting, I might do this. I might take a small packet off the top, take a big packet from the middle, and then I might put my small packet back on top and put the other one. What I've done is I've put my middle packet down near the bottom. And what this does is that when I spread now, it offsets their card. So instead of having their card always show up in the middle, now it's down on one end. Okay, and that seems a little bit more realistic maybe. So I can do this. I say, well, I think it's down at this end somewhere. So let me just separate that. I think it's somewhere in here. So making things uneven is another really, really good tip. to use whenever you're presenting things. Realistically, in life, things end up unevenly. They don't always end up in the middle. Things aren't always what we call symmetrical. So that might be a good idea. When you cut the deck, cut a small packet, cut the center section with your key card in off, and then replace the top packet and put the bottom on top, like that. Okay, so key card, this is a key card with a major upgrade, and it's just as easy as the original trick, but it looks a lot better. And doing something like that would really fool even magicians. They might not understand that you're using a key card to accomplish that. So there you go, key card. Let's take a look at another trick.